With almost 8 live-action Spider-Man movies and a lot of comic issues, the fact remains that we know very little about who Spider-Man's parents are. However, we were given a backstory of Peter Parker's parents in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which revealed how Peter Parker's father, Richard Parker, was responsible for Peter becoming Spider-Man. But the Spider-Man comics shed more light on the parents of Spider-Man, who were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents hired directly by Nick Fury. In today's video, we shall discover the remarkable and untold story of Richard Parker and Mary Parker, the parents of Spider-Man. But before we start, we have a small request for you. If you like our content, subscribe to us and like this video. It might be just a simple click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Alright then, let's get started. What we know about Spider-Man's parents. We got our first glimpse at Spider-Man's parents in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. In the beginning, it was established that they were running from Oscorp with some kind of technology, and it was shown that they presumably died in the plane crash. The movie shows Richard Parker's story and connects it with Peter Parker. Richard was a scientist who was working alongside Dr. Curt Connors on the development of cross-specified genetics. Although a lot of people laughed at them, Richard Parker made a breakthrough by creating genetically modified spiders. This breakthrough allowed them to continue their research, and Oscorp also funded them. One fateful day, Peter found Richard's office a mess. This made Richard and Mary take Peter to Uncle Ben and Aunt May's house, and this was the last time Peter saw his parents. Years later, the same genetically engineered spider would bite Peter, and Peter would gain the powers of Spider-Man. Later on, Peter would meet Curt Connors and help him perfect his sample of genetically engineered species of lizard by providing Curt with his father's decay rate algorithm. Using the serum on himself, Dr. Curt Connors could grow back his limb, but he was also transformed into a mutated form of lizard and tried to turn the whole city into lizard, but was eventually stopped by Spider-Man. In a deleted scene of Amazing Spider-Man 2, it was revealed that Richard Parker was alive and came to meet Peter after the death of Gwen Stacy. Although the scene was deleted from the final cut, it shows much about Richard Parker. The remarkable tale of Richard and May Parker. Contrary to his movie counterpart, Richard is not a scientist in the comics, but an excellent spy whose story was revealed in the comic issue titled Untold Tales of Spider-Man Issue 1, released in 1997. The story of this comic starts with a spy eavesdropping on Baroness Adelcia von Krupp, who was traveling on a luxury yacht and talking with her butler about the capture of Agent 12 from Maharashtra and the willingness of the Supreme One to interrogate Agent 12 himself. But soon, the guards of the Baroness discovered the spy, and the spy had to run away from the scene and jump into the water. He was mostly unharmed by the bullet shots, but got a minor injury because a bullet just scratched his triceps. In the water, another spy assisted him, and when they reached the shore, it was revealed that they were Richard and Mary Parker. The Baroness soon destroyed the yacht to cover her tracks. Then they had a small talk with a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, who revealed that the Baroness was a neo-Nazi sympathizer, and that she had captured an agent called Agent 12. Richard volunteered to get Agent 12 back from Bombay, where he had been captured. Mary proposed that she tag along too, because they'd make a good disguise as a couple on vacation. Richard and Mary Parker remember their stories on the plane to Bombay. Richard was a soldier in the American Army, and when he was thinking of a better way to serve the nation, Nick Fury offered him a job at S.H.I.E.L.D. Following that, he had been a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent for years, and he also met Mary, who was working a desk job, but she was not happy with the desk job and wanted to work in the field. Alongside, it was revealed that Mary's father was also a soldier who lost his life in a war, and she lost all willingness to live until she met Richard, and when they got married, it was the best day of her life. That's when the flight reached Bombay. Upon arriving there, they started the search for the Baroness, and when they found her, it became difficult for them to chase her, as it was the eve of Ganesh Puja in Bombay. But they found out the Baroness entered an alleyway and tried to follow her, but were soon drugged and captured by her and the Supreme One. In the basement, it was revealed that Agent 12 was none other than Logan, and the Supreme One was a masked entity who had been torturing Logan for days, but he hadn't revealed any details except his name. Soon, they all engaged in a fierce battle, and Logan, alongside Richard and Mary Parker, escaped. Still, Mary Parker fell unconscious, and Richard became extremely worried about what had happened to her. But thanks to Logan, they got out of that maze of an alleyway and got to an infirmary, where, while Richard and Logan were talking, the doctor revealed that Mary was 1 month pregnant and that she shouldn't put any kind of stress on herself. Meanwhile, in the same underground basement, it was revealed that the Supreme One was none other than Baron Wolfgang von Strucker, the leader of Hydra. How does Peter find out the truth about his parents? The Amazing Spider-Man Comics Annual Number 5, released in 1963, sheds light on Peter Parker's parents and how they died in the comics. The comic starts with Spider-Man in the foreign land of Algeria, where he suddenly gets ambushed by a group of thugs. But it is pretty easy for him to defeat this bunch. He wanted answers to who sent them to fight him, so he chased after them, but missed out on a member with a gun in his waist sash. Spider-Man could dodge the bullet shot, but lost his balance and fell into a canal. The thugs, thinking they had finished Spider-Man, started to walk away, but Spider-Man emerged from the canal and fell unconscious. Then, in a flashback, it was revealed why Spider-Man was here in Algeria. While moving a few trunks in the basement of his home, Peter Parker found a newspaper strip of his parents, Howard Parker and Mary Parker, that shows that his parents were traitors, betrayed the nation, and ultimately died in a plane crash. This was similar to how Peter's parents seemingly died in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This enraged Peter, and he demanded answers from Aunt May, to which Aunt May confirmed and said they never knew about Richard's job, as he always kept secrets. It was only through the news that they confirmed that Richard was a spy who worked for a rebellious organization in Algeria and betrayed the country. It was only discovered when a restaurant owner in Algeria recognized them after their plane crash. Peter couldn't process this. He could never imagine his parents being traitors. He was sad and confused, and for the next few days, he wandered like a zombie. But at last, he decided to find the truth about his parents. The next day, he goes to the Fantastic Four Tower and asks Reed Richards for help. Luckily, Reed was working on a vehicle that could help them travel extremely fast. Using that vehicle, Reed helped Spider-Man reach Algeria in less time than it would have taken Peter to cycle down the busy streets of New York. After going through multiple restaurants, Spider-Man finally found the restaurant owner who identified Richard and May Parker's bodies. He interrogates and asks him for the address of the man they worked for, to which the restaurant owner says he can't say his name, but he can give their address. Meanwhile, their conversation was heard by a bystander outside, who ran away and said he was going to warn the master. This is when those thugs ambush Spider-Man. When Spider-Man wakes up from being unconscious, he collects himself and rushes to the address the restaurant owner gave him. When he reaches the place, he finds it deserted, and without thinking much, he starts searching for files or proof that the Parkers were innocent. He finds something, but it is proof that they were the members of an enemy spy organization with his father's name and signature on the back of a membership card. Peter Parker was so shaken by it that he didn't notice the arrival of the organization's leader. When he noticed, it was revealed that the leader of that organization was none other than Red Skull. Red Skull then asks if Spider-Man is here to join his organization called the International Ring of Master Spies and Saboteurs. When Spider-Man says he has no interest, Red Skull calls a giant called Sandor. He didn't speak much but was built like a boulder. Spider-Man had a hard time fighting him because he was still disoriented by his parents being traitors, but still using his skills, he could easily defeat Sandor and left the premises, disheartened by the harsh truth. However, Red Skull was not the type of person who gave up so easily, so he calls another accomplice called the Finisher. The Finisher had a unique ability to track someone if he had a piece of their clothing. Using a piece of Spider-Man's clothing, he launched a missile at Spider-Man, but Spider-Man noticed this because of his Spidey senses and used his webs to throw the missile in another direction. Spidey then noticed another missile coming out of a car, but it was locked to him and traveling extremely fast. So Spidey took the missile and crashed it into the car from which it came. It was revealed that the Finisher was inside it. He tries to run, but Spider-Man catches him and asks him if he knows about Howard and May Parker. And then the Finisher tells the story of what really happened. It was revealed that his parents acted as double agents for the American government, and Red Skull found out about this. To punish them for their betrayal, Red Skull gives them a fake mission and sends them on a plane whose systems were broken, and that's how the Parkers met their demise. The Finisher succumbed to his injuries before he could reveal any other information. So, to find proof of this parent's innocence, Spider-Man reaches the Red Skull's lair once again, where they engage in a fierce battle that leads to the Red Skull's base being destroyed. Amidst the rumble, he finds that the membership card is torn, and some other card is inside. When Spider-Man takes out that card, it is revealed that it is Richard's membership card for the American Spy Organization. This makes Spider-Man extremely happy, because now he'd be able to clear the name of his parents. Marvelous verdict. There's news floating around that the character of Spider-Man will get 3 trilogies in the MCU. The movies have already explored one trilogy of Spider-Man that ended with Peter Parker becoming an orphan. That's why Peter's parents' story is highly likely to be explored and integrated into his character development arc. Who knows? It might happen that his parents might even be alive and be introduced in the upcoming Spider-Man movies. The possibilities are endless, just like Marvel always does. They can tweak their comic book story to give us a new story of Richard and Mary Parker. That would be thoroughly entertaining to watch because, yeah, they are the parents of Peter Parker. They are supposed to be cool. With that being said, if you like our content, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.